what's the science that's gone behind these switches, and why have you done this wild card so early?
The wild card's so early because we're starting to see a pattern. We're starting to see a pattern of good players. So
I like patterns.
There's a lot of
I'm a mathematician.
players. There's a lot of players, especially from the unknowns, like Mason Mount, Cantwell from Norwich.
I've actually put him
great.
in my team. Have you got him?
Yeah, just put him in from the wild card.
You see, I watched him and he looked terrible. He didn't do anything other than score.
No,
the rest of the game he was hardly in it.
I disagree. That one game, yes, but
he's
the
got
other
a lovely
games,
haircut.
The other two games, he got. The other two games, that's
perm like my mum.
I wish I could have hair like that. I'm going bald as we speak. But I think Mason Mount has been a massive. Again, not to keep bigging myself up, but Mason Mount was a great option to put in. He just looks like he's involved with everything. A bit like we were talking about.
He really does look like he's going to stick as well. Are you worried that he might get replaced in that Chelsea squad because they've got Barkley? They've got
no. Look,
I thought Barkley would be ahead of Mount, and I was surprised that. And Lampard's got a little favouritism for Mount. I saw him chatting about it.
I think he sees a bit of himself because you notice how far up the pitch he gets.
I think,
he's quite a creative midfielder. I hate to say it, but Sean will like this. Our Scottish lad, this John McGinn fanboy, Sean. He's a bit like John McGinn in Aston Villa. He's involved
a younger John McGinn, isn't he?
He's slightly younger. I think they're both pretty young.
Less Scottish.
But we do appreciate you, the Scottish listeners, as well. So
absolutely, and thank you all for listening. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after the break, and we'll be telling you more fantastic tips. Welcome to part 2 of episode 1.
Wahey!
Left back in the changing room. Thank you guys for joining back in, and very happy to go away from the Chelsea-Norwich debate. We're now looking at the Crystal Palace-Aston Villa game.
Okay, I have to say one thing, and sorry to keep hankering on this.
No!
Of course I'm going to say, I am saying John McGinn. Sean, me and Sean, obviously,
I thought you were going to say you love Palace.
We went out to the pub at the weekend, and this is not why I'm saying this, but Sean, if you're listening, and all you Scottish lads out there, Sean McGinn is absolutely quality.
It's John McGinn, mate, not Sean McGinn.
John McGinn. I'm getting Sean and John confused.
He don't know what he's doing, mate. He had a free beer, guys. He got a free pint. He don't know what he's saying.
It was an IPA, 6.5%. But anyway, I digress. Carry on, Jimmy. What was you going to say?
Mate, I'm just glad you didn't rub in the Palace defeat again. I think in this game, to me, for this game, it's not one I'd look at for most people, but I think clean sheets are important. You get 6 points for a clean sheet. Can Palace keep one against Villa? Can Villa keep one against Palace?
You just made me think of. And I think most of you listeners out there probably have Kelly in your team.
He was
Kelly
cheap,
was
wasn't
4
he?
million.
I've got him.
He's just gone up to 4.1 because
he's my number 2 sub. He's great.
Yeah, but I'm on the fence whether they're going to get a clean sheet. Aston Villa, I know that you've got someone up your sleeve for Aston Villa.
Well, Wesley, old Wesley.
He looked brilliant, mate.
I watched the game and Everton were all over Villa. It was a Friday night. No one likes a Friday nighter in fantasy. It always gets you off guard. You don't realise it's coming, and then all of a sudden you've missed everything.
You've missed your transfer
and
window,
you missed getting Wesley in your team because everyone would have got Wesley.
Yeah, well, you know what? Wesley was tipped to be a good player. He's been quiet. It's taken him 3 game weeks to come alive. But
I saw it come up on my phone. I'm like, what? Wesley Brown, Wesley Schneider? No, Wesley. It's Wesley.
Wesley Schneider.
Bloody Wesley. Who's he? Where's he come from?
James, you bring up a good point. Going on
he's
the
cheap
back,
as well, mate. He's 6 mil.
Yeah, and going on the back of you, obviously in part 1 I mentioned I'm backing Haller and Abraham, right? Aston Villa's Wesley, another big man up top, right? Holds the ball up well.
Does, yeah.
Good with his feet.
But do you get points for holding the ball up?
No, but he brings other people into play. He's going to be involved with goals or he's going to score goals. So this is what I'm saying. I feel like this year could be the year of the big centre forward.
But this is a thing. It may well be in football terms, but in fantasy terms, this is another podcast. How do you get points for holding the ball up or laying it off? Is that an extra point?
No, but don't.
We need to dissect the bonus points because I always get
Yeah.
I look at how did he get 3 bonus points? He did nothing.
But it's how you perform during the game, right? So if you are heavily influenced in creating chances, if you're going to get assists. I think Haller and Abraham and Wesley are going to get assists.
They're
this
your
year
strike force for the rest of the season.
Well, I don't think I'll be able to fall or free. I won't be able to fall or free because don't forget I've got De Bruyne, I've got Salah, and I've got Sterling.
So you've gone heavy midfield midfield. Whereas a lot of people have gone Aguero, Kane, Aubameyang up top, and they've spent money up there, and you've gone light up top.
Gone
Is
light up top.
Is there a reason?
Well, just because look at last year. You know, again, Sterling, Salah, top performers, and defenders were massive performers last year. You know, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, Laporte. You know, I didn't want to go heavy with either Aguero. He's risk at rotation,
but he's been real good this season. 2 on the weekend. He's looking like he's stepping it up.
I must admit,
I feel like he looks annoyed that he didn't win the Golden Boot last year.
For some reason, I had in my head that he was going to be rested a lot more. I think, but Jesus, that's a good point. Actually, if we're gonna lead on to Man City shortly, Jesus is actually injured. He's injured, so I think Aguero is a massive pick this week.
I mean, Aguero is always a massive pick. That's not, our listeners, most of them have got him. We're looking for value, Ricky. Mr. Pellegrini coming out with
the big hitter, but okay, value.
I want to jump back. I know, jumping back all the way to that first game we spoke about, United. Martial. When you're just telling me about those midfielders, like to me, right? Salah is a striker. Why he's still a midfielder on the app is funny. Sterling, I mean, are they both there? Okay, they're both midfielders. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of you people listening, you're going to have your opinion on this. But Martial, is he a striker? Is he a midfielder?
Well,
he's a midfielder on the fantasy.
Well, this year...
Is he worth getting?
This year, but this is all determined at the beginning, so it's a bit like Declan Rice last year was determined as a defender.
He was a goalkeeper, wasn't he?
You would think so.
Rice and peas.
How many goals we let in last season, but he was a defender classified last year, but
and he
was
played
actually
in midfield.
So it's the same as Martial. He essentially, yes, last year Martial was pretty much more of a winger, whereas he looks like he's playing that number 9 role.
Oh, he is. He's up top. But there's a benefit of being
5 points for a goal.
But there's a benefit of being a midfielder, but actually playing striker, or being a midfielder and being defender.
Yes.
It's better to be a defender or a striker and classified as a midfielder, because you get a cleaner, you get 6.
Yes,
midfielders get 3 unless they get
and also
being a midfielder, you don't get any points.
And no, but scoring goals is massive. That's why, don't forget, probably why Sterling. It's not the only reason, obviously. Sterling got a lot of assists, but also don't forget, every time, even when Aguero got his hat-trick last year, right, Sterling still got more points than him that day. And guess why? Because he's a midfielder. Because he got more points.
Not if you're captain Aguero.
Not if you're captain Aguero, that's right. I remember that, James. And I remember that very well. But who still won the league? Who still won the league?
Oh, top 1,000. Top 1,000
in the world.
In the world.
I hope that I'm in the top 100.
Least it never be forgot. Okay.
Someone can dream.
Ricky, I got to stop you there. We've got to move on, mate. We've got to move on to the next game.
No, Joe, carry on.
You got no choice. God, down that. Leicester, Bournemouth. I don't think we need to spend much time here. I mean, the only thing I can say is I've had Jose Perez in my team, and I've been very disappointed with the return.
So
and
have many people.
Should I get rid of him? He's still there.
So have many people. You know who I'd have? Madison instead of him.
I've seen reports Madison is actually linked with Manchester United for the January transfer window.
And to be fair, if I was James Madison, would I turn that down? No, I wouldn't, of course.
But is he that good? That's the problem.
He's actually.
That's the problem.
I mean, Jimmy, you got to say
he looks good, but does he score and does he make that many assists?
And that's a very pertinent question, because you know what, the England squad's going to be announced very soon. I think Madison hasn't been called up to the England squad yet. Can you believe that? His colleague,
I do believe that. I don't think he's that good, mate.
His colleague Ben Chilwell at left back has been called up, but I think Madison, how he's not been selected for England yet, I do not know. But again, you're talking about Fantasy Premier League, right?
I'm talking about assists and goals, and he doesn't do it.
Perez,
and Madison doesn't do it.
I think, yeah, but look at his assist against Vardy at the weekend. It was an absolute blinder. It was an absolute blinder. He found him through. I've got to sit here and I'm looking at your hand directions. I didn't watch the game, so I'm taking you. We all did.
But what are we saying? Okay,
Jimmy.
Guys, what are we doing? Leicester, Bournemouth. Do we think there's any value in Leicester players at the moment?
I think Madison, like I say,
Madison.
I will home in on that.
And what about Bournemouth? What about Wilson?
On the Bournemouth side, I've just taken out Callum Wilson. I've just taken out.
But what about the other Wilson, who everyone thought was Callum Wilson?
Harry Wilson.
And everyone thought, Wilson scored, and it isn't the Wilson, it's the other Wilson.
Another youngster. Yeah. We talked about Mason Mount.
And is he midfield or is he defence?
He's midfield. He's a midfielder. And he takes their free kicks and he scores that
free kick was an absolute peach. Actually, I watched it. I was like, "That's the best free kick I've seen."
Top
corner,
top bins.
Honestly, amazing against City. Really good player. I mean, that's a question as well. Players that take the free kicks and take the penalties, are they worth getting in your team? Like Milivojevic at Palace, I often see people put him in because he takes pens. I put Barkley in because he took Chelsea's pens pre-season, but
that didn't work out. Yeah, that was hard to call. But it's a good point. I will flip that over to Digny, which I know a lot of you fans out there have him in your defence. He's been one of the top scoring defenders. He didn't do so well last game week, but the 2 game weeks earlier than
Who's that?
Digny is a left back for Everton.
Oh, the Everton lad.
Yeah, the Everton lad. And to your point, James, he takes all their free kicks, he takes all their corners, a lot of them anyway.
So do we think Wilson? The Harry, or
he looks like a gamble. And if
James, I think he scored that free kick. Let's just,
Harry Wilson. Okay, so altogether over the 3 game weeks, he's got 14 points so far. He got 6 points in the game week, obviously for that goal.
Only
he's
6
million. He's 6 million.
Only 6 points though.
He's 6 million.
He's quite expensive as a midfielder. That's the same as Ross Barkley.
Mount just went up.
Yeah, Mason's now 6.1.
He's 6.2 actually, mate.
Is he?
6.2. Might
well,
even
that's
6.3
the thing. They
now,
go up. It's like Pookie. Pookie's now up.
So this is one thing I have to say is I've learned doing your transfers early. But the game week is even over. I like doing that just because they start to go up really quickly. So if
can
you
I
leave
ask
it
you
till
about
Monday
this?
Or Tuesday, go on.
Can I ask you this, Ricky Pellegrini? I did what I thought was a stupid move on Saturday morning. I'm watching Norwich versus Chelsea.
Well, you put Harry Kane as your captain?
No, Pookie scores a goal, and then Cantwell, he scores a goal. Then Pookie also scores a goal. I get straight on the app and I remove Barkley and I remove Calvert-Lewin, who I don't know why I had. Like, honestly, that was very embarrassing.
Oh yeah, Calvert-Lewin.
And I put in Cartwell and Pookie, both of them. I put both of them straight in because they'd scored in that game week. Is that like, should you wait until the next? It was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. What if one of them got injured?
I know. You know what? I actually admire that because you know why? Because they will go up if they do well. This is what I did with Mason Mount, right? Mason Mount had a blinder, like, and I'm not talking about the week just gone, the week before, right? He had an absolute blinder.
Michael should have saved that goal.
But he was at the centre of everything, and I was straight away.
Peter would have been disappointed. Peter would have been at home like, how the hell did you not save that?
He's like, yeah, Peter the monster Schmeichel.
I was disappointed for Peter, who was disappointed for Casper.
Yeah, but still a great goalkeeper though. Still great. I have to say, as soon as I saw Mason Mount do that performance like that and score that goal, I was like, right, get him in. So I agree with you. I think get him in early. And to be fair, mate, that's a great shout. You got Pookie in, and who was the other one?
Cantwell,
doing well.
I think he was cheap, mate. He was cheap.
Playing West Ham.
And I saw he was playing West Ham. I thought, yeah, they'll kill him. They'll cream the hammers. Hell of the hammer, no chance.
All right, on that note, let's move on to the next
game. If you haven't worked it out, Ricky Pellegrini is the biggest West Ham fan you will find.
Yeah, just a bit. But let's move on to Man City against Brighton. So,
well, Man City, Brighton.
You know what? Let's start with Brighton actually, because you know what? There's one.
I don't think you can start with Brighton. There's nothing there, surely. Surely.
They got a guy sent off. He was actually a good.
How can we start with Brighton when it's that? If you're looking at Man City Brighton and you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to put 3 Brighton players in my team, you're an absolute idiot.
That is a good point. But I do have to have a mention.
I mean, Brighton have had a great start to the season. I'll give them that. They look good. They lost to Southampton 2-0. I couldn't believe it. I thought.
Yeah, they got a man sent off. So it was very, very harsh. But they look more of an attacking team. So I just wanted to give them a mention. They look more of an attacking team. Obviously, Man City.
I'll give them a mention, but do not invest in Brighton players. That will be my one tip for you guys. I don't have many, but
that is very.
I wouldn't be investing in Brighton players. I did it last season. I went for Glenn Murray. He didn't do anything. He was rubbish. Double game week. Glenn Murray, you're going to cream it. Nothing.
So Man City. Okay. So obviously we have Sterling. Yeah. We all know about Sterling, what he can do, and obviously he's quite expensive to get him into your team if you haven't got him already. But Kevin De Bruyne. What do you think about Kevin De Bruyne? Come on, let's tell everyone, because I got him into my team. I think he's going to have a great season. He obviously already started really well, but honestly, is he going to last the whole season?
I think he will, mate. I really do think he will. He had all of last season out, except for the last few games. I mean, if you need to recover for an injury, that's